We often hear the phrase chosen ones, and it almost sounds like a myth or a legend. But what if I told you that the chosen ones aren't born? They are forged through a series of tests that most people never even recognize. These tests aren't physical, they can't be seen with your eyes or measured with tools. They are spiritual, mental, and emotional, and they are the hardest challenges that anyone could face. Very few people go through them, and even fewer pass, but those who emerge are forever changed. You see, life itself is a test, and not everyone gets the same test. There are levels to this, and the deeper you go, the more intense the challenges become. The chosen ones are those who are willing to face the hardest tests, not because they want to, but because they have no other choice. They have a deep, unshakable calling that tells them, you must go through this. It is not optional, and it is certainly not glamorous. These tests will push you to the edge, make you question everything, even who you think you are. Even if you can't endure them, you will come out the other side transformed. The first test begins when you are asked to confront the truth of who you truly are. We spend so much time building up an image of ourselves, a mask we show to the world. We define ourselves by our jobs, our relationships, our possessions. But the first test, it strips all of that away. It forces you to look in the mirror and see yourself without the mask. This moment is terrifying for most people because it's like staring into the abyss. Who are you when you're not being defined by the external world? Who are you when everything you thought you were is stripped away? Many people can't handle this first test. They turn back. They retreat into the comfort zone of their illusions. But the chosen ones, those who are destined for something greater, they don't turn away. They stand there. They stare into the mirror, into the abyss, and they ask themselves the hardest question: who am I really? Have you ever asked yourself that? Not as a fleeting thought, but as a deep, burning question that won't let go until you find the answer. If you identify as a chosen one and wish to receive further guidance on your spiritual path, please make sure to like this video and subscribe so you can continue getting in-depth messages to help you on your journey. The second test is that of isolation. We live in a world where we are constantly surrounded by noise, social media, work, friends, our family. But to pass this test, you must be willing to go at it alone, not just physically alone, but mentally and emotionally alone. You must be willing to sit with yourself in the silence, to confront your own thoughts, your fears, your desires. And in that silence, you begin to hear something else, a voice that has always been there, but has been drowned out by all the noise of the world. This is your inner voice, your true self, calling out to you. Can you hear it? Most people are afraid of silence because they're afraid of what they might hear. But the chosen ones, they embrace it. They know that the silence lies in the truth. You see, the hardest tests aren't the ones that challenge your body, but the ones that challenge your soul. And the third test is perhaps the most difficult for many people. It is the test of letting go. We hold on to so much in our life: grudges, expectations, and disappointments. We carry the weight of the past on our shoulders and it drags us down. But to pass this test, you must be willing to let go of everything, to release your attachment to outcomes, to people, to things. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. You trust that whatever is meant for you will come to you, and what is not meant for you, it will fall away. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of immense strength. But here's the thing: letting go doesn't happen all at once. It's a process, and you have to constantly remind yourself to release, to trust. And just when you think you've mastered it, life throws something else at you that makes you want to cling again. In these moments, you must ask yourself, am I willing to let go of this? How much are you willing to release in order to be free? If you've made it through the first 3 tests, you've already begun to transform. But the journey doesn't get easier from here. In fact, it only gets harder. The 4th test is the one that breaks down the strongest of souls. It is known as the dark night of the soul. This is the test where everything you thought you knew, everything you believed in, is turned upside down. It's as if the universe itself is testing you, asking, how much darkness can you endure before you lose your light? In the dark night of the soul, you are plunged into a period of intense turmoil. It feels like the entire world is crumbling around you. Relationships fall apart, careers vanish, your sense of purpose disintegrates, and you're left with nothing but questions, asking, why did this happen? What did I do to deserve this? And most importantly, will I ever make it out of the darkness? But here's the secret. The dark night of the soul isn't a punishment. It's a purification process. It's necessary in your spiritual evolution. The darkness is not there to destroy you, but to strip away everything that is not truly you. It is in the darkest moments that you find your deepest light, but only if you can endure. Most people, when they're faced with this test, fall into despair. They give up. They lose themselves in the darkness. But the chosen ones, they don't give in to despair. They understand that darkness is only temporary. It's just a phase. They keep moving forward, even when they can't see the path ahead. They trust that there is light at the end of the tunnel, even if they can't see it yet. So let me ask you, how do you react when everything falls apart? Do you panic? Do you try to cling to the pieces of your life that are crumbling, desperately trying to hold on to them, desperately trying to keep it all together? Or do you let them fall, trusting that whatever is meant to stay will stay and whatever is meant to go will go? The 5th test is the test of faith. Not faith in a religious sense, but faith in yourself, in the universe, in life itself. When you're in the dark night of the soul, you must have faith that the darkness is not permanent, that there is a greater plan at work, even if you can't see it. This is perhaps one of the hardest tests because it requires you to believe in something you cannot see, something you cannot prove. It requires you to trust in the unseen, to trust that everything is happening for a reason. Even if that reason is not clear to you yet, faith is not blind. It's not about ignoring your pain or pretending that everything is okay. Faith is about acknowledging the pain, truly, fully feeling it, and still choosing to believe that there is a purpose to it. It's about trusting that the universe is not against you, but working for you, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. Here's the thing. When you're in the dark night of the soul, your faith will be tested over and over again. You will be tempted to lose hope, to give up, to believe that the darkness is all that there is. But the chosen ones endure. They hold on to their faith even when it feels like nothing is there to hold on to. They keep moving forward, even when every step feels like it's taking them deeper and deeper into the darkness. So let me ask you, how strong is your faith? Can you hold on to it when everything around you is falling apart? Can you trust the unseen in the unknown, even when the path ahead is dark? At some point, you've been in the dark long enough. When you've wrestled with the questions, the doubts, and the fears, you come to a precipice. This is where the 6th test begins, the test of surrender. If you've made it this far, you've already proven that you are strong, resilient, and capable of enduring tremendous pain and uncertainty. But this test isn't about strength. It's about giving up control. It's about surrendering to the flow of life, to the forces that are far greater than you and your individual will. And this, in many ways, is the hardest test of all. You see, we humans love to be in control. We plan, we organize, we strategize. We try to shape our lives and futures, our relationships, according to our desires and expectations. But life doesn't always follow our plans. In fact, more often than not, it takes us in directions we never anticipated, sometimes painful, sometimes joyful, often mysterious. The chosen ones are those who understand that control is an illusion. They understand that there is a greater intelligence at work, a force that knows far more than the limited human mind ever could. And they are willing to surrender to that force and let go of their need to control the outcome. But surrender doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean you stop caring or striving. It means you stop resisting. It means you stop fighting against the current of life and instead allow yourself to be carried by it. Imagine you're swimming in a river. If you try to swim upstream against the current, you'll exhaust yourself and get nowhere. But if you surrender to the flow of the river, you will be carried effortlessly to wherever you need to go.